was to casually tie up a female crab from the roadside and reluctantly experience the thrill of cross-species reproduction, all because I had activated the universal seeding system. As long as I reproduce, I can undergo nirvana and evolve. Seed with a silver-scaled koi, nirvana into a golden turtle. Seed with a true dragon, nirvana into a black tortoise dragon. The stronger the bloodline and cultivation of the seeded one, the higher my level of nirvana evolution, and each offspring will return attribute points to me. From then on, when the myriad races see me, the first thing they do is cover their rear. At this moment, I spent 5 minutes, successfully seeding the female crab 100 times. The system reminded me again that the energy was fully charged. Should I begin nirvana? This session will last 1 month. Invincible during nirvana. The moment I heard invincible, I did not hesitate at all. Begin nirvana. As soon as the thought faded, sleepiness swallowed me whole like a tidal wave. Just before losing consciousness completely, I only felt a layer of light enveloping me. When I woke up again, a month had already passed. The first moment my consciousness returned, I looked for the female crab. Thank goodness she was still alive. Not only alive, but her underside was also full of eggs. I let out a long sigh of relief. As long as she is still here, my path is not cut off. Then I immediately pulled up the panel. Name, Jiangzuo. Species, ironclad turtle. Strength, 10 points. Agility, 0.2. Constitution, 40 points. Spirit, 4 points. Free attribute points, 0. Lifespan, 300 years. Nirvana progress. Ability, Ironback. I stared at the panel. My heart warmed at first. An ordinary turtle had actually been turned by me into an ironclad turtle. Strength, constitution, and spirit had all doubled. Even my lifespan had grown to 300 years. But the next moment, my eyes landed on agility 0.2. My entire turtle face froze. This improvement was barely any improvement at all. But then I looked at Ironback again, and my mood improved. My shell will be as hard as iron. That is the most valuable thing right now. Surviving is always more important than anything else. Before I could be happy for too long, my stomach growled. I had not eaten for a whole month. I was starving. I crawled out of the cave and first nibbled on some grass. But the taste was noticeably worse than before. The grass leaves were somewhat yellowed, and the flavor was much worse. But I was just too hungry, so I had to settle for it. I nibbled my way back to the edge of the pond. I was tired of the taste of grass. If there was some meat in the pond, it would be perfect for a treat. And with my current size, I was not as afraid of those water-spitting fish as before. I steeled myself and went straight into the water. As I swam, I discovered a disadvantage of being a turtle. I could not see behind me at all. If something came up from behind, I would be in trouble. As I was thinking, a small fish swam in front of me. I opened my mouth to bite, but the fish flicked its tail and dodged. I bit nothing. I understood immediately. Agility 0.2 is still far too low. I had to change my target to the clams at the bottom. Grab some clams just to fill my stomach. Soon I found a plump clam, swallowed it in one gulp. My entire being felt soothed. Finally had some meat. As I continued looking for food, a flash of gold shot past beside me. I squinted, and my breath slowed. It was a carp. Its entire body was covered in silver scales that shimmered with a golden light. It swam past me, without even glancing at me, followed by a group of even smaller carp. The system immediately gave a notification. Seeding target discovered. Silver-scaled koi. I stared at the golden figure. Only one thought remained in my mind. I must get this fish, but I had not been following for long. Before reality slapped me, it swam too fast. Taking a turn in the pond, I could not even touch its tail. I had to suppress my impulse. At least it was not going to escape the pond anytime soon. There was something else I needed to handle first. The female crab was still carrying eggs. I could not let her go out to find food on her own. If she died out there, all my previous efforts would be wasted. I grabbed 2 clams and slowly dragged them back to the cave and placed them in front of her. She smelled the meat and immediately started eating ravenously. Seeing she was in good condition, I finally lay down to rest. Over the next few days, I did nothing else. I did only one thing. Watch the silver-scaled koi. The pond was not very big to begin with, and the golden glow from it was too conspicuous. Just when I thought I was going to waste another day, a black fish suddenly rushed in from afar. Taking advantage of the koi's distraction, it snatched a small carp following behind. Blood instantly spread in the water. The silver-scaled koi instantly flew into a rage and chased after it. But that black fish was too slippery. It slipped into a crack in the rocks in an instant. The koi waited for a long time but could not force it out. Finally, it had to leave in anger. But I had already understood its biggest weakness was those small carp. Thinking of this, an idea formed in my mind. For the next half-month, I occasionally went ashore to find materials and choose a spot, while continuing to track its route. Finally, one day, I held a thorny vine in my mouth, with bits of clam meat hanging on the thorns. I half-buried myself at the water's edge, leaving only an angle that would allow me to exert force. The rest depended on patience. This spot was chosen after a long time of waiting. The silver-scaled koi passed by here almost every day, and the group of small carp behind it loved fighting over these bits of meat. I was not after it. I was after its heart. I waited from dawn until noon. My jaw was sore from holding the vine. Finally, that golden figure appeared again. The silver-scaled koi did not even bother looking at the meat scraps, but the group of small carp behind it swarmed in. Over a dozen little things fought over the meat scraps. My heart tightened little by little. Just as the last bits of meat were being eaten, the vine suddenly tightened. I had a bite. I dragged the vine and rushed toward the shore. Since I was already close, I scrambled onto the bank in a few steps, but I did not pull the small carp directly out of the water. Instead, I deliberately let it splash around on the surface. I did not want this little fish. I wanted the silver-scaled koi to chase after it. I bit down on the vine and pulled it back, little by little. Underwater, chaos erupted. The silver-scaled koi burst through the water and bit at the vine, but I had already calculated every time it was about to reach it. I would pull back a little, Each time it jumped, I brought it a little closer. Each jump brought it a little closer to the shore. After a few rounds, I had completely let it off course. When it leaped again, it finally landed in the wrong spot. The entire fish slammed heavily into the grass. I watched as it got farther and farther from the water, and almost laughed out loud. You chased after it yourself. The silver-scaled koi lay on the ground, thrashing its tail wildly, desperate to roll back into the water. But I had worked so long. How could I let it go? I let go of the vine and rammed it. At the moment of impact, I tucked my head into my shell and slammed my entire shell down like a hammer. Once, twice, 3 times, I pushed it farther and farther away. In the water, it was ridiculously fast. But once on shore, it was a fish out of water. Soon it had no strength left, only heavy breathing. I moved to the side and used my body to push it little by little. The small puddle beside it was one I had dug in advance. It was just the right size, big enough for it to survive and big enough for me to make my move. When it finally slid in, the last of my concerns vanished. All that effort finally not wasted. I climbed on top of it. Of course, it tried to struggle. But all that thrashing on shore had already exhausted its energy. In the end, it could only do as I pleased. 5 minutes later, the system notification rang out. Seeding successful. Energy plus 0.5%. I almost exploded when I heard that. Only 0.5% per time, meaning I would need to do it a full 200 times, and each time would take 5 minutes. I nearly cursed out loud, but I had already come this far. There was no turning back. In the days that followed, aside from eating and sleeping, all my remaining time was spent on the silver-scaled koi. For 5 whole days and nights, I endured. Good thing my constitution was high, otherwise I might not have been able to handle it. When the system finally reminded me that the progress was fully charged, I was almost completely exhausted, but I did not begin nirvana immediately, because the female crab was also at a critical moment. The eggs under her abdomen were fully transparent. The little things inside were moving around, and I could clearly see faint turtle shell patterns on their small shells. My heart warmed at the sight. I can sleep after the children are born. And so I waited a few more days. One day, I went as usual to check on the small puddle. Before I even got close, I saw a large bird standing at the edge of the puddle. The bird was covered in white feathers, with 3 pink feathers on its head. Its size was about the same as mine. Its claws kept reaching into the water. Each time it grabbed, the silver-scaled koi would thrash its tail in pain. Blood rushed to my head. That fish took me 5 days and nights to catch. Its belly was carrying my offspring. If anyone dares to touch it, I will fight them to the death. I put all my strength into my legs and charged fiercely at that white-feathered bird, but it heard the noise, flapped its wings, and flew off. My charge missed, and instead I crashed into the puddle. Thankfully, the silver-scaled koi only lost a few scales. It was not badly injured. The white-feathered bird circled in the sky a few times, and finally flew away, but I did not dare relax at all. If it came once, it could come again. I immediately started pushing the silver-scaled koi toward the pond. It seemed to know I was trying to save it. Its tail beat the water desperately, helping me move it forward. After a lot of effort, I finally got it back into the pond. Once it was in deep water, the bird could not do anything to it. I looked up at the sky and memorized what that thing looked like. I would settle this score sooner or later. After returning to the crab cave, I dared not wander around anymore, because in the following days, I saw that bird outside again, and it was not just one. My current abilities are still far from being top dog. If one of them carried me off into the sky, my shell might not be able to save me. So I obediently stayed in the cave. Until that day, finally, the first little crab broke out of its egg sac from under the female crab's abdomen. Then the second, the third, in no time at all. The entire cave was crawling with tiny little things. I picked one up and looked closely. Their shells and claws were all black, but their backs had turtle shell patterns. Though they were just born, they already looked fierce. More importantly, these little ones were not afraid of me at all. Some climbed onto my back. Some even tried to crawl into my shell. It tickled so much I kept tucking my neck in. Just as I was enjoying the sight, the system notification popped up again. Detected total number of crab turtle offspring, 10,000. Return ratio, 1 per 1,000. Accept attributes. I was stunned for a moment, so it was not a full return. But then I thought about it. A base of 10,000 was already terrifying enough. I directly chose to accept. The next instant, a faint red light simultaneously appeared on all 10,000 little crab turtles, and like a fine rain, it poured into my body. For a full 5 minutes, that stream of light did not dissipate. I immediately opened the panel to look. Strength 10 points, agility 0.2. Constitution 40, spirit 4 points. None of these had changed, but the free attribute points had jumped directly to 50. My entire being was excited. Finally, I was in charge. My first move was to invest in agility. I put all 20 points into it. A warm current instantly exploded through my limbs. I only moved my leg a little, and felt my body become much lighter. That sluggish feeling was cut down by more than half. My original agility of 0.2 was directly raised to 20.2. Now that is more like it. The remaining 30 points, I split into 2 more allocations. Strength plus 10. Constitution plus 20. This brought my strength to 20, and my constitution to 60. As for spirit, I left it alone for now. I still cannot see its use. Then I looked down at the 10,000 little crab turtles in the cave, and my scalp went numb. There was no way I could take care of that many children. But if I just let them out, who knows how many would survive? After all, they are my offspring. I cannot just abandon them. So for the next few days, I got busy again. First, I gradually enlarged the small puddle that had trapped the silver-scaled koi, and built up its edges. Then I piled weeds on top to cover the entrance. After all that work, I stood beside it and looked for a long time. I have done everything I can. They will have to walk the rest of the way on their own. I muttered softly. What you become from now on is up to you. After settling those little ones, I sank back to the bottom of the pond. Soon, I saw the silver-scaled koi. The spot where it had lost scales had grown new ones, and its belly was noticeably more rounded than before. With my experience from the female crab, I understood at a glance. She was also pregnant. There was nothing in the pond that could truly threaten it for now, so I was not that worried. I found a relatively flat spot at the bottom of the pond. It was time to begin the second nirvana. With a thought, I began nirvana. That familiar sleepiness washed over me again, and I soon fell into a deep sleep. The autumn rain fell for a long time. That small pond had long been breached by the heavy rain. Water from the river flooded in, merging with the pond. The shelter I had built for the little crab turtles had long been destroyed. I did not know where they had been swept away. Many new things appeared in the river, and the silver-scaled koi was now swimming cautiously in this new stretch of water with a group of small carp. Its scales no longer had their former brightness. The golden glow had faded, and its surface was bumpy, as if it had been repeatedly bitten by something. And those small carp behind it had completely changed. Each one was covered in a black gold luster, and the two fins under their bellies had even grown hooked claws. Though they were still small, one could tell at a glance that they were not to be messed with. The silver-scaled koi suddenly stiffened. It seemed to have noticed something extremely dangerous. The next instant, it immediately turned and swam back. But the group of small carp could not keep up. Seeing this, the koi gritted its teeth and turned back. Dragging its injured body, it protected the fish as they retreated. But it was too late. A massive black shadow suddenly struck from the side, slamming into the koi's back with a bang. Then, purple electricity instantly exploded all over its body. It went completely stiff and began to sink. It was a massive pitch-black electric eel. It gave the koi a cold glance, flicked its tail, opened its mouth and bit at the small carp, which fled in panic. But with its size and strength completely overwhelming them, they had no chance of dodging. In just a few breaths, 7 or 8 of them were swallowed. After eating its fill, the eel slowly swam away. The whole thing happened terrifyingly fast. Once it could move again, the koi stared in the direction the eel had left. The hatred in its eyes was palpable even to me, but in the end, it did not chase after it. It just quickly called back the scattered small carp. After the fish had regrouped, it did not continue foraging. Instead, it led them straight to the bottom of the river. This was exactly where I was sleeping. It seemed to want to wake me, but tried several times without being able to touch my shell. Just then, the golden light on my body began to slowly fade. The next moment I opened my eyes. A flash of gold passed through them. I first looked at the koi beside me, then at the damaged scales on its body. My heart sank. Something had hurt it. Then I glanced at the small carp gathered around. With just one look, I recognized them. These are all my children. I did not rush to find what had hurt it. Instead, I opened the panel first. Species: golden armor turtle. Strength 30. Agility 30.2. Constitution 70. Spirit 14. Free attribute points 0. Lifespan increased to 500 years. Talent remained the same. But I had gained a new ability: golden shell. The turtle shell can slowly recover after taking non-lethal damage. This ability was right up my alley. As long as it was not a fatal wound, my shell could slowly grow back. The more I looked, the more satisfied I felt. The attributes gained this time were different from last time. I understood after thinking about it. It was most likely related to the silver-scaled koi. One look at myself almost startled me. Before, I was about the same size as it. Now, next to it, I was easily 5 times its size. Just then, the system rang again. Detected total number of black gold fish offspring, 1,000. Attribute return ratio, 2 per 1,000. Accept immediately. I was not surprised at all. Those black gold fish were my children. I could not mistake that pull from the bloodline. With a thought, I accepted. The next instant, 1,000 red lights were drawn from the fish and poured into my body. I quickly checked the panel again. Free attribute points had directly risen to 100. I was stunned for a moment. Last time, 10,000 crab turtles only gave me 50 points. This time, only 1,000 fish gave me 100 points. Just as I was wondering, the system provided an explanation. Attribute return depends on the offspring's current attributes. Only then did I fully understand. Last time, those crab turtles had just hatched when I collected from them. Their foundation had not yet developed, so the return was naturally low. But the black gold fish were different. Though they were not fully grown, they were already far stronger than newborn crab turtles. I immediately made a mental note. I must not be too hasty in collecting returns in the future. Letting the children grow first is the real way to get the meat. Thinking this, I did not rush to allocate points. Instead, my gaze turned cold. The injuries on the silver-scaled koi were not for nothing. The wounds on the black gold fish did not appear on their own. If you dare touch my woman, my children, this debt must be settled now. I moved my 4 limbs and slowly rose from the riverbed. A group of small black gold fish swam in circles around me. The silver-scaled koi seemed to understand and swam ahead to lead the way. I followed. All the while, I was inwardly amazed. In just 2 months of sleep, that small pond had been torn by the rain into a corner of the river. The water area was much larger, and there were so many more creatures. Thinking of this, I also wondered about those little crab turtles. I did not know where they had been swept away. Half an hour later, the silver-scaled koi stopped. Not far ahead of it lay a black eel, completely black, with electric sparks jumping off its body. I recognized it at once. I knew this thing, the electric eel, fast and can discharge electricity. I thought for a moment, and immediately allocated those 100 attribute points. 50 into agility, 50 into constitution. A warm current instantly rushed from head to tail. I could feel my body surging. My body felt lighter. My bones felt sturdier. When that warm current subsided, I felt great. I stared at that eel, with nothing but a cold smile in my heart. You little eel dares to show your face? Die. I opened my jaws and lunged at it. My 4 limbs pushed the water, kicking up a muddy swirl behind me. The eel barely had time to react before my mouth snapped shut. Its triangular head was clamped in my jaws. The eel instinctively discharged electricity, which coursed through my mouth. My tongue only felt a slight tingle, but my body was completely fine. I bit down and crushed its skull. Then I lifted my neck and swallowed it whole. Having meat right after waking up felt truly satisfying. The eel meat was tender and smooth, with a hint of sweetness. So much better than those small fish and shrimp. As I was savoring it, I suddenly looked up again. A mass of black shadow in the distance was heading toward me. As it got closer, my eyes lit up. It was an entire school of eels. Meat delivered right to me. Why would I let them go? I told the silver-scaled koi to stay put and not move. I moved my 4 limbs and charged straight at the eels. My body was now like a heavy hammer. I crashed into them, scattering the school in an instant. I bit down on one, my jaws snapping shut, and the eel was cut in half. The eels were completely enraged. They regrouped and simultaneously released electricity, a massive purple light that colored the river water. The electricity washed over me, crackling all over my body. My limbs went numb for a moment, but I was prepared. Before they discharged, I had already tucked into my shell. Their sharp teeth bit down, but could not reach my vitals. When the numbness faded, I shot my head out, and with a snap, bit another one to death. These things were actually quite capable. If I had not been cautious, I might have been in trouble. But after this round, I was confident. They could leave a few white marks on my shell, but they could not break through. Especially now that I also have golden shell. These scratches would heal on their own. Once I figured them out, I stopped holding back.